You know, the hardest part about having ADHD isn't like forgetting stuff, the impulses. Like, I've got a handle on most of that now. It's the medicine for the most part. Like, since second grade, I've been taking Concerta. And, like, October of last year is when I realized that was also giving me issues. Like, issues like, so if you look up Concerta and the side effects of it, you learn that it has this like huge crash to it, and for me it lasts 2 hours. And I didn't realize that until one day I was just like, you know what, I gotta do a thing. I gotta go to school and I gotta take this pill, and I keep waking up late. So you know what, I'm just gonna take it late because I'm tired of being unproductive for an entire week. Yeah, excuse me. So so yeah, I take Concerta that day at 11, and it's like, okay, cool. 7 o'clock is when I stop working. All right, I'm just gonna go, and I just went. I ate food and just went hard. And around 6:49, I was like, had this gut feeling. It's like, maybe I should stop right now and just sit under a tree. Just sit under a tree like the good old days when I was in elementary school. You know? So that's what I did for 2 hours without realizing. I just let my mind wander for a really long time. And then this weird thing happened where like around like 9 o'clock, it's like this, you know how like you hear the background noise of the air conditioner? I just turned it off. And it sounds a lot better. It sounds quiet and empty. And that's what my head felt like. It felt like I turned off the hood fan for like on top of the oven. It felt like the background noise just turned off. And I felt energetic, and I slept really well that night. And so I was like, oh, I'll just try this tomorrow. See what happens. So I woke up, and it was a Wednesday, I believe. Yes, it was a Wednesday. The next day. So the day that I was just talking about was Tuesday. I'm good at this. So I wake up on Wednesday, on time to go to class and everything, and I take my pill around like 8 o'clock. I'm just like, all right, 8 o'clock, so I should stop around 4 o'clock. Okay, good, okie dokie, productive day. If 4 o'clock rolls around, I chill out. 2 hours later, I feel good again. I'm like, maybe there's something to this. And so I go online. And online, you know, the things that people told me about, like, Concerta gives you a crash, dude. Concerta, like, makes me feel really shitty at the end of the day. It makes me feel super tired and sad and depressed. Yeah, I was just reading all of that. It was like, yeah, it'll last for 8 hours and then you'll just feel really bad. And I was like, huh. So the way that I avoid feeling really bad about life is by chilling out after 8 hours, and then I crash and just don't do anything, or like low level stuff. Because you know, when I was in elementary school, I was doing stuff. It was just like doing low level homework, nothing really hard. So sometimes I doodle, sometimes I play music, sometimes I just like I just listen to stuff. And a lot of times I just sit there and space out. Yeah, but there's a problem with it sometimes. And the problem is that it does make you like really tired and really depressed. So if you're off by like a few minutes on your dinner, then you're gonna have a really hard time making dinner when you're crashing and you're in a dorm and there's other people in the lounge and they're trying to interact with you, and you're just like, I want nothing to do with anything for like 2 hours. Just 2 hours, please. So 2 hours wraps around, and sometimes it lasts longer. I don't know why. It's random. Did I mention that about ADHD? It's random. A lot of stuff about ADHD is just random. It's hard to predict, especially the side effects of Concerta. Sometimes it'll not happen. Other times, I'll have like a 4-hour depressive episode. You just spin the wheel and find out. Some days. So then, I forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah, so then this is a new thing about my life that I have to accept, but it's just like, okay, well, now I know about it, which is better than before, which was not knowing about it, which was horrible, because I just identified as being a depressed person at the end of the day for no goddamn reason. Yeah, that sucked when I was in middle school and high school. It didn't happen as much during elementary school. Wanna know why? Because I had free time. And then when I was in college, like that same day, that Tuesday, where I was just like the first time that I took a 2-hour break, I was just like, maybe the reason I don't have free time or ever feel like I have free time is because nobody's in charge of me right now, and oh my gosh, I create my own free time whenever I want. Cool. It'll be that time that I'm supposed to just not do anything. And trust me, I'm supposed to not do anything. Asking me to try and use my brain when I'm crashing is like asking a drunk person to drive home. It's like asking a person the morning after and they have a hangover. It's like asking them to not have a headache. Is my point clear? I'm not sure if my point is clear. I take a chemical and I have no control over its effects on my body. I just have control over the things I do with my body. Right? At that time, and some of those things are just like, lift your arms up. Try to fight back do positive body language. And see if you fight the like a dopamine inside your head with, a rush of testosterone and serotonin and oxytocin or whatever. Hugging people's really nice too. And talking to people is really nice too during those times. But I'm kind of a shut-in because since middle school, I didn't know this. I've been taking this in 2nd grade. God, I wish I had ever just had received a project on, why don't you research about ADHD for school or something? Learn about Martin Luther King, who was important. Odysseus, Zeus. Just too many people. If by now you can't tell, the way I'm cutting this video is by short, sessions of recording, short little periods. Just I record and I stop because it would be filled with silence, just moments of silence. And I used to try and take 10 minutes of recording and be like, I'm gonna edit that later. Guess what I never did? Edit that later. So I just upload them with the silence, and that's awkward for everybody. I don't even have a real camera. This is a phone. So yeah, Concerta sucks, but it's okay because it helps me focus, right? And there was a point where I was mad about because I was looking into it. It was part of a study, for goodness sakes, about ADHD in college kids and disabilities and stuff, whatever. I signed an NDA, so I can't really say more than that. But that taught me a lot of stuff too. And it just, after years of just none of these things that I learned in the TED Talks work, and then one day finally just being okay, let me look into my medicine if I'm so good at managing my ADHD, and then finding the problem there, I'm like, wow, great, cool. Awesome. Like, that's how I felt. It was just like, kind of relieved, kind of upset that nobody ever like, I had doctors, I had psychologists prescribe this to me, and nobody was ever like, hey, do you ever feel sad around the end of the day? Yeah, it's because of this. Nobody ever told me that. Would have appreciated knowing this. Cut. That's all I have to say. Yeah, look, if you take medicine, just figure out what it does. Go ahead and just type in whatever the name of the medication is. Look at your bottle. Look for the chemical name for Concerta, for a lot of ADHD drugs. You'll find that it is some form of acetaminophen. Acetaminophen. No, wait. Methylphenidate. Acetaminophen is a painkiller. Methylphenidate, which is not like meth. It's not crystal meth. It's not methyl. But I don't know the name of it. Give me a methamphetamine. That's what that's called. Yeah, methylphenidate and methamphetamine are actually very different drugs. They kind of have the same effect. Actually, if you go on and do a little research, you'll see that they actually use like Adderall, like different forms of methylphenidate, in order to help people rehabilitate from methamphetamine, which is kind of cool. I didn't know that. I was like, that's awesome. You want to know another thing? Another thing I didn't know, and let me look up the source before I say it. The source is Samara Robert. Let me this guy right here, number 187 right there. I'm just gonna read this real quick. An 8-year follow-up of children diagnosed with ADHD found that they have often difficulties in adolescence, regardless of treatment or lack thereof. In the USA, fewer than 5% of individuals with ADHD get a college degree, compared to 28% of the general population aged 25 years and older. If you want to know more about that, just go to the Wikipedia article for ADHD and just look at the sources. Honestly, this is actually a really well-organized document. It's probably the most simple thing and most complicated thing. You know, it's the most rigorous source out there right now. It's the easiest to access. There's a book that I've been trying to get to called Everything You Need to Know About ADHD and ADD, and it's in my college's library as an electric PDF, and guess who never has time to read that? Because they have exams and homeworks to do. That was smooth. Anyway, I felt like a superhuman when I read that. It's like 5%. I'm in the top 5% of people with ADHD. I'm in college right now, so I guess that's not entirely true, but I mean, hell would freeze over before I, fail to get a college degree. So, closing thoughts. Concerta is good. A little bit of crash. You know, if you take medicine, you'll probably figure out what it does to you. Recording things on iPhones and trying to get the lighting right is weird. And if you have any disability, I guess, try and tell people about it. Try and find like a friend you can talk to who can actually understand, right? From like a normal person's perspective. You know, there's people out there who literally will not care, who really will not see the disability that you have, right? And then just be like, oh, I just thought you were that way. I mean, you still are. Like, you'll tell them like, yeah, I have this thing, and they're like, oh, I just thought you were that way. I mean, you still are, but it's, I guess, as now we know why, and it's alright. And then that'll touch your heart, because you're like, somebody just accepted me for who I am and the disease inside my soul. Anyway, goodbye.